Welcome to your Tuesday update. If you can't tell by the map in my offhand, we're doing something a little bit different today. And why am I going this direction? I know there's a reason, I just can't remember what it was. But one of the things that has been on my mind is the plaques that are normally on the fronts of the different palaces and on the gates and things, and they have the name of the palace or the gate or the hall. Written in the Central Plains characters, I believe, is what it's called in the Mandarin script. And it's not something that's super duper easy to duplicate, and I wanted to see if I could find a way to create something that I could put up on the wall that would have that. And so what I've settled on is using a map of a location that I have flattened out completely, which is what I've been doing over the weekend. And then making it the right shade of blue, and that's where I start having problems, is getting just the right shade of blue for this thing. So here is where I've started, and I've been trying a bunch of different things. So my first thought was blue terracotta. Blue terracotta looks more indigo on the map. It's kind of, well, it looks like what it looks like, you know, as a piece of terracotta. But, whoop, that didn't work. So that didn't really work. So then I was like, okay, maybe light blue terracotta, but that has more of a gray tone to it. And the blue on those plaques is really vivid. So I thought, well, maybe blue concrete. And so far, blue concrete has actually been the best match that I've found. But I'm also going to try, I also tried blocks of lapis, because I was willing to go and find all of the lapis, right? But that also was not quite the right shade. It was almost a little too pale. And so I've come back around to blue concrete. And of course, if you've worked with concrete in this game, you know that it has to be set with water. And so what I like to do typically is just flood an area and then lay the concrete down in the water. And it occurred to me, I have a little trick for flooding an area that I think is just hilarious. So if you have a squared off area like this, you can flood the whole thing really fast. So what I do, and I've already done it across that bottom section, but now I'm going to do it along the side. So you only need 2 buckets of water to sort of infinitely reproduce your water. And so you place one, and then you go over at least 2 squares so that there's one in between the one that you've just placed, so here. And then that one's going to be our empty, and then we go here. And what happens is now this is a water source block. And so then you go over 2 more spaces and place it, and it's just going to propagate. So you skip 2, and as you can see, it's propagating. And then you can, take from that. And so what you want to do if you want to fill a large blocky area is you start by doing one entire side, like I've done down on that southern part. And then you want to come along and do the other one. And you can start it up there in that corner where the other one is at if you want to, but it's less dramatic. So I'm going to do, that didn't work. I'm going to do the dramatic version because it's so funny to watch. So let's link these 2 up. Getting there. Oh, now I've got 3 little weird spots. Of course I do. Let's go over there. Sometimes you kind of miss, and then it's in, like, not quite the right place. But that's okay. So here we go for that. Oops. Una mas. There's that one. We'll go with you and see. Okay. I think that did it. Okay, so now we have this nice long line, right? And so now we're just going to continue up until they meet. And when they meet, it's going to set off a chain reaction that's going to flood the whole section. I had originally, actually, the reason I started flooding it, I was going to see if water would work as the blue. And I'm still not 100% certain. The jury is out. So you'll have to help me decide. And you can do this to fill in really large sections of water too. Like deep pools, you just have to do the bottom layer and then you go up to the next layer and do it on the next layer and go across, and so you'll have the water all the way down that's all source blocks, and so you can fill in really anything with water that way. You just don't want to start at the top though, because then it doesn't populate the lower levels. It has to be on the same Z or Y coordinate. I always think Z coordinates because in most systems Z is your elevation. But in this one, it's actually the north-south coordinate. And X is going to be your east-west, and then your vertical is Y, which just different starting points, I guess. Okay, we're getting close. Like I said, this is pretty quick. And then when it goes, it's just great. I think this might be the biggest one I've ever done. Yes, there's a zombie under this platform. I am aware. Ooh, excuse me, goodness gracious. Whatever Ucko Little Bird has. I accidentally placed one out a little further, didn't I? Whatever he has is not what I had, and now I have what he has. We're having fun, right? Right? Of course, you can get rid of water blocks by throwing sand in the same location. It doesn't really work to go out there and be like, I'm going to scoop it out. No, it doesn't do it. It'll just respawn itself. Alright, here we go. We are almost to it. Because when the source blocks get within the right range of each other, it's going to start propagating all the way across. There we go. 2 more. Not quite. Alright. That may be sufficient. No, it's not. I need to do one more there. Alright, here it goes. Is it going? Oh, you're being rude. Stop that. There it is. Alright. We're going to run out ahead of it. And it's going to fill the whole section. All the way across. And if I can ever figure out what's making that little spot there a different color. There it goes. I'm like, what are you doing, you weird thing? Now it's hit down there. I'm going to collect a whole bunch of torches here in a second. And of course, I haven't got the concrete powder blocks here to completely seal it off, so it's going to flow out. But there we go. We flooded the whole section, and I don't love it. Shame. I do not love that shade of blue. I think I'm probably going to end up going with the concrete powder. In part because of that corner up there. I'm not sure why it looks different. I mean, there is actually water underneath it, but there's also water underneath over there. So, I don't know. It didn't come all the way across. Why did you not? I must not have finished it across the top. So let's go fix that after we collect all these silly torches. Oh, that's why it hadn't, because it has to be ticked. You gotta be close enough for it to do it. You like that? And this thing was so big that one corner. Incidentally, this is the 0 of 4 map, and it is 125 on a side. Alright. So, I'm not going to record, everything going forwards. I just wanted to share that particular bit of silliness. And we'll be back in a little while to put down some concrete and see how that looks. I'll talk to you then. Okay, so we're back. If you can't, well, you can't really see it yet, but I did not want to come down here per se. Well, I guess I did. Now I'm trying to find my way out. I came down here because if you see in the map, the water had just a little bit too much of a cyan tinge to it. So I wasn't in love with that. Except, in the bottom right corner where it was deeper underneath. One of the only times I've ever seen that be a thing. So... Stupid skeleton, where are you at? There you are. Oh, please. I've settled on the blue concrete. As you can see, it's taken up a lot of that, and it has just, I think, the right little hint of indigo, which is what I was looking for. And so to that end, I've come down into the deep dark to hunt for gravel, mostly. Although I've found a significant number of diamonds while I was down here too. Oh, you're annoying. Oh good, it jumped into the lava. That's always nice. And I'm out of torches, so I kind of have to go back the way I came if possible, because I can't really just dig around, And the problem with that, of course, is I don't remember where I came in. So, it's an adventure, right? Sort of a terrifying phrase in my life. Couldn't have an adventure. Oh God, what now? Dumb things, dumb things. And I know it should be roughly... I thought this is where I came down. Oh, look, a creeper. Where you at? Oh. Well, this is definitely a path I've taken, clearly. Oh! Hey, that works. I always go down to -51 and lay out these tracks. Oh, I can go away. So, now we're gonna go... That's the wrong way. We'll just go back this way. Whee! I've actually still got a slot open for gravel, so if I find any on this route, I'll dig it out too. Because if you, didn't know, gravel, sand, and here we are, some sort of coloring agent is what gives you concrete powder. Oh, there we go. Stop off here and just collect some gravel. And you can get gravel at the bottom of water bodies, but it takes a lot longer, and if you don't have a conduit there, then it's just going to be a fight. Plus, drowned show up. So I find that going deep down and just screwing around in these caverns is more productive for me. Especially with all the fire protection and there's the thing. All the fighting I can do, so it's usually a better spot. Does that make sense, right? Sure it does. Almost done. Okay. So that is what we needed. Plus some deep slate that we didn't need, but whatever. And a whole bunch of iron and copper ore. And I've largely repaired one of my pickaxes, and then the other one is still, as you can see, it's kind of like at halfway there. But it could be worse. Oh, bees. Coming out in daylight. Excellent. I was so hoping, but I never keep track, so Ow. Yay, feather falling. Keeps me from killing myself. Most of the time. I have had it be too far of a fall. And that's how I lost all the things the last time. Which was rude. Okay. Surprised that tree still has any branches on that side, but I'm gonna run back out to our little area. I didn't want to go too far away from my main base, you know. Because then it just takes forever to get to a place. But as you can see, it's a good solid blue verging on indigo, which is actually one of my favorite colors. And it's better than this sort of slightly more cyan. I think it's a better match too. When we're all done, I'll go to the picture and we can compare. Okay, put that away, put that away, put that away. Just want to get rid of the extra stuff. You can see here's the terracotta that I did not care for. And I actually tried the blue wool, and it was a very similar shade of blue. So it kind of worked, but it also could catch on fire. And I really didn't want everything to burn down. Because, you know, it's down along the river, even in the Badlands biome, you can get lightning strikes. So I ended up going with the concrete because it had a very similar color to it without being flammable. I don't need that. Why did I do that? That was just silly. Oh, put away the deep slate. Dang away. Oh, I don't want to grab those just yet. And I have all sorts of sand handy, which is nice. How many diamond shovels have I gone through? Probably 50 or 60 of them so far. I use a lot of shovels. Fortunately, they only require one piece to make. Seven, 8, 9, 61, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go downstairs and make concrete powder and come back up in the morning. I love that pop sound when it collects stuff. And down we go. So I have my little house sort of shelter here so I don't have to go far. I can just hop down and make the concrete. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All the concrete powder. I'll have to bring some more lapis. I have cubes and cubes up there. There we go. Let's go back to that. No, rude. Okay. But, so this will be the plaque background, and then we'll look at the picture in just a second. I'm pretty sure it needs to be yellow for the lettering, and I'm contemplating, just because I think it would look really nifty, using ochre frog lights, because I have quite a few of them, although I also need quite a few of them. But they're kind of the easiest one to get a hold of because those frogs are the easiest to breed. So I'm thinking that will also make it a safer thing so that it's not going to be, you know, crawling with mobs out here, because I don't want to ruin the design by putting down other light sources besides the 4 sea lights on the corners. Whoop, don't miss it, because that's not satisfying, and we like to do the satisfying thing where we complete these little sections and then go, oh, isn't that nice? That particular part of the electric aspect, which is what I refer to my brain as, electric jello, really, really likes it when we finish the pattern. The other thing I wanted to show y'all, all y'all, is the squid thing. Because there's another way to hunt squid that's kind of strangely effective, and that's why I haven't closed off this section yet. So you can see it on the map that this area comes up as a different shade of blue, and that's because there's a river going underneath it. Typically whatever is below the surface doesn't impact it, but when you're talking water and deep caverns and stuff, apparently only one layer isn't enough. But if you have a single layer deep pool above a river, it will spawn in with squid, and they will die all on their own. You don't have to do anything. So let's see if we can convince them. You do have to have obviously you have to have the area ticked, so you've got to be close enough for the squid to the game to sense that you're there, I guess. And I won't close that off, because if you have a section that's just one water and you put the concrete in, it won't set, which is annoying. So I always make sure I leave a little passageway, so it's always, you know, they're going to make a liar out of me today, aren't they? Well, I mean, you saw, or we can go back and look at, the ink sacs I have in that chest are all from them killing themselves out there in the pool. Yeah, I really like this shade of blue. It's coming out fairly nice for this. Up, up, up. Do we have any squids? Rude. I had that happen a lot, and it still happens actually in the parts of the actual city that have the stream. If they're over a part of river, they will routinely spawn in the squid, and you can, you know, hunt or whatever. Whoops. And there's a nice thing about concrete is until it's set, you just dig it out by hand. It's easy to place. Alright, if a squid doesn't come in by the time we use up all this concrete powder, probably just going to say, eh. And just go back and look at the amount of dye I have in there, because that's sort of proof positive, right? None of that. Thank you. Although I do typically have, and they're sitting in one of the chests over there, a couple of pieces of cured blue concrete that I dig out just so that I can put them in the places where I end up with a single slot. Up out of the water. Oh, there we go. And because it's only one deep, they kill themselves. So if you wanted to build a squid farm, because I've seen the tutorials and a lot of them are like, oh, well, you have to do it so far away from any other water source. Not true. If you build a platform over the water source where the squid were spawning in naturally anyways, and then just give it a very shallow pool of water, there it goes. And you just kind of wander through and collect, or if you want to, you know, kill them, then you can do it faster, but it'll just build up right there. Alright. Let me put down the rest of this, and we will look at the photograph that I'm using to try and pick all of this. Because why not? But first, I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm going to go hide in my house. Well, my little shelter. It's not really a house, but, you know. I like to be very specific in my word choice, because one of my jobs professionally is as a science fiction author. And so I like to use the words, you know, that have all the right meanings. I publish under the name Kady, K-A-D-Y, Nicols, N-I-C-O-L-S, and the book that's out right now is called Golden Ratio Lost, and coming out at the beginning of the year is going to be Golden Ratio Accounts. It's meant to be a series, and I like to describe it as Criminal Minds meets Stargate, in a lot of regards. That's sort of the vibe I'm going for. So if you enjoy both of those two shows, you probably enjoy the book. So now let's go and I have so much on here. Okay, no, I don't want Kunigal. I believe I was actually on the right one. There it is. And so here's the picture I'm talking about. And you can see there's the sign with the palace, label for the building. And that's what I'm trying to match. And I think that this indigo is a pretty good match for it. So that's all I've got for your Tuesday update here with the Sly Paladin. And I will talk to you on Thursday. Later, taters.